Hi, Minder.
Hi there.
We're back on our bullshit yet
Mm-hmm.
again. It's another glorious day in the American hellscape. Welcome to the Bitch Podcast, where we do nothing but bitch about our lives. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, and that's Amanda. Say hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. And yep, so we don't know what to talk about, so we're just gonna, I guess, bitch at you, like she said.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, because while we are two neurodivergent best friends traveling the neuroverse together, because we're living in a typical world and we're not neurotypical girls, uh, we also like to bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So, Amanda, we're gonna
Yeah.
bitch again. That's what we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
do.
And we're hoping to do this before my power goes out again, because I was telling her before we
Yeah,
started that it is so windy out here that, like over here, that my power's gone out like 3 times in the past hour. So
yeah. So if we have some interruptions, that's what editing is for. It'll be
mm-hmm.
fine.
Yeah, you guys won't
And we're
know.
doing this on the Tuesday before this goes out, so I have time. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I have an eyelash in my eyeball. Fucking hell. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Moving on. Uh, I did a lot of yelling last week. I feel like I do a lot of yelling every day anymore.
I mean,
Um,
have you seen where we are? What
I
time period we're
know,
in?
I know, it's so bad. But listen, we have to laugh about it. If
Or we'll
we
cry.
don't, we're gonna fucking cry. Like, it's fucking weird over here, y'all. It's weird and it's scary, and we don't know what's going on from fucking minute to minute
Mm-hmm.
half the time, let alone day to day. And we're only 2 months into this shit. Barely 2 months into this shit. We have 4 fucking years to go.
Like
So,
every day is a new circus.
yes. Yeah. So, anyway,
Yep,
uh,
that's it.
that's it. Goodbye. No, just kidding.
Cue credits.
Yeah, cue Julie. Uh, but there is actually something I kind of want to talk about
Sure.
that is not related to politics, because I think we probably just need to take a break from that subject. Um, First of all, I do want to say, piggybacking off last week in one aspect, I have deleted the apps, all the social medias from my phone. Um, I think I've only logged on to Facebook one time from my computer. I was on it for all of possibly 5 minutes and then got off abruptly. I don't miss it. And I know that's probably really bad for being a podcast. We kind of need social media, but I don't miss it. I don't miss having to constantly feel like we have to update on things, or that I need to be posting something, or that I need to be interacting with people on that platform. Um, Keeping up with people who really, are just there because, I don't even know half some of these people that have followed my personal page. Um, like, I've never met a couple of them in person, which is fine, whatever. But like, I just don't need to be constantly interacting in that way, or scrolling, or looking at what other people are doing and comparing my life to other people's lives. And because it makes you feel like you know these people when you don't. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like, I have family on there that won't call my phone, won't text me, won't whatever, but would, expect to see things posted on social media. Now, some of that is, I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just I feel like if you really want to know how things are going on, you should probably just pick up the phone or text and call someone. You
Right.
know, Facebook is easy to get a hold of people that way, and I get that. I'm not saying again that it's all a bad thing. It's just like when I step away from it, I realize just how more like calm my brain feels. So I do feel better not being on the apps.
Hmm.
And then I can't like run into every third reel because that's really what I do on fucking social media. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I will get
That's
on there for
me.
the fucking videos, right?
Like 90% of my Facebook is just scrolling through reels
Right,
anymore.
right. Exactly. And so like
I don't have TikTok,
I
but I have reels.
right, exactly. So like do I miss that funny video life? Yeah, kind of, but like it again, American hellscape. We like I was saying, there were people who were posting things political that I've never seen post political things before. So like every third reel was something about how the world was burning, and it's like I don't need a reminder of this when I'm just trying to laugh at dumb
I'm
people on
living
the
it. I don't
internet.
need to I need to know like I'm
Right.
living it. I don't need a reminder.
Right. I just want to laugh at dumb people on the internet. I don't want to talk about the hard shit or listen to you talk about the hard shit when I'm just trying to laugh. So I'm done and I'm not mad about it. And maybe not forever. I'm sure at some point I'll return, but for now it's working out for me. Um,
It's a good mental
and
break.
then it is a nice mental break, to be honest with you. And then I also had a realization. What happened?
What?
I saw you put your head back and close your eyes.
Oh,
Did you?
it was a no, it was a cramp.
Okay. I thought maybe you kicked. Then you stubbed your toe or
No,
like did some...
no,
I was like, what
no, it just hit me real hard.
happened? It looked painful, whatever it was. We're leaving it in. I don't care. We're leaving it
Fuck
in.
it.
This is
Fuck it.
life.
We'll do it live.
Anyway, um, I had a little realization the other day that um would be officially 2 days ago now because this is March 4th when we're recording this. I It has been exactly 1 year since my last shift at work.
Hmm.
March 2nd was my last shift at work of 2024. And that, of course, got my brain stewing on all the things that have happened over the last year,
Which has been a
of
lot.
which there are, yeah, which there are not enough fucking podcast hours in the fucking year to be able to talk about. Um, and I've mentioned quite a bit of it over time, so I won't bore you with an entire recap. But mainly, what I wanted to focus on and what I'm trying to focus on, you know, despite my mean brain being like, you're going to relive every dumb thing you've ever said and every weird or awkward interaction you've ever had with anyone at work or
So my
fucking
nightly ritual. My nightly
yes.
ritual.
But it's all day, every day. Like
Hmm.
when I'm driving down the street and I find myself, my mind has wandered into memory lane and I'm like, fuck, I'm driving a car. I need to pay attention. You know what I mean? Like it's not healthy. So like I'm trying to like acknowledge those thoughts when they come up and then just be like, yeah, but we're not going to entertain that right now. That's great. I see you. Great, whatever. But like we're driving a car right now, right? Like
Hmm.
we're not in
Focus, Ninja
you're
Bear.
not in danger. Right. Focus, Ninja Bear. You're not in danger. Speaking of Ninja Bear, I finally. Nicholas hasn't seen that in so long that he forgot the video, and I showed it to him the other night, and he was like, "Oh my god, that I remember now, where that comes from." Because I still say it to my kids all the time. I say "Focus, Ninja Bear" all the time. Okay, side tangent over. But anyway, I was just more so trying to keep this on a positive track as much as humanly possible, and just sort of think about how far I've actually come in a year. Like what all has happened from that first day of like from like yesterday, right? Would have been my first full day at home after working my ass off for 2.5 years. And I was in such a different headspace then. I was fucking terrified. I didn't know if we were going to be able to afford for me to be not working. I didn't know what my body would ever be able to do again. I didn't know what diagnosis was going to for sure be coming down the pike. Like we were definitely thinking it was the um, EDS, the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome diagnosis, but we didn't have like definitive things yet on all of that. We just knew that it was most likely that, and that my body was breaking down and I needed to be done. I needed a break. And how bad everything was, we just didn't know, at that time. I'm thinking like that day, I didn't know exactly where I was, right? And my mind was so fucked. Mental health was fucked, physical health was fucked, emotional health was fucked. And I feel like in a year, I've really come a very long way.
Mm-hmm.
I still struggle with a lot of things like mental health wise. Obviously, I'm always going to. And again, American Hellscape doesn't help anything. So, like that aside, I'm trying to like put that to the side and be like, in the grand scheme of things, how have I felt about my situation with my chronic illness and my physical health over the past year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to thinking, like, I've already done so much more in the last like couple of months than I have been able to do than I would have been able to do this time last year, right? This time last year, I was literally fucking in bed most of the day unless I had to pee or get up to eat. Like, I was so fucking tired. I didn't even know if I could lift my goddamn legs by myself. My joints were popping out of socket all the fucking time. Like, it was really not a good space to be. Mental health was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
And physical health.
yes, and physical health was so bad. Yesterday, I woke up, got out the bed with, you know, the normal level of discomfort I normally have, but not like nothing to like what it was a year ago. I got my kids together, ready for school, got everyone out the door, fed the dog, picked up the house a little bit, and then did a full fucking workout with weights and push-ups and a 10-minute walk on the treadmill at like a 3 pace, which is like almost a run for me because I'm 5 foot all 5'3" on a fucking good day and my stride is very small. So don't judge me, okay? Like I was at a good clip. 3 is a damn good clip for me. It's a nice brisk walk, okay? And yes, I was a little winded after that because I'm heavily deconditioned. But that's like that wasn't even on my fucking radar a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think a year ago that I'd be weight training and on a treadmill like within a year of all of this stuff happening. I was so, so far down a different path in life and so fucking scared. And I'm still nervous about some things, but it's like physically, I've come so far that it's just nice to see that like hindsight's 2020, right? Like you look back and you're like that person was so fucking terrified they didn't know what the hell their life was going to be, and like now in a year I at least have hope that like being able to be physically strong in my own way. I
Mm-hmm.
still will always have limitations. I still will always, need to modify things or not be able to go as long or as far as some people can do, and things are still going to hurt me that won't hurt other people. Just because I can do it doesn't mean I should do it, right? Like that's my new motto. And but I can get on a treadmill and walk for 10 minutes. I can do wall push-ups. I can do 40 squats on a ball, like using the ball to help me like get a little bit of momentum so I can get back up easier so I'm not relying as much on my hip joints. I can do butt kickers. I can do like ab stuff, right? Like I'm so much farther along physically than I was then, to where I could barely pick up my goddamn leg to get out the bed, right?
Right.
So I'm just trying to focus on the positive things that the progress, that's the word I've been looking for, the progress that has been made in a year. Am I necessarily much smaller than I was then? No. At this point, do I care? No. It's a goal to lose weight, but I right now am focusing on my physical fitness and being able to physically get around, which eventually will lead to me losing some weight or shaping up or at least losing some fat, right?
Mhm.
Like if I keep going, I'm going to at some point start losing some fat. Will I also have to factor in my dietary choices at some point? Yes, I will, but I don't eat like a fool and I'm not eating fast food every fucking day. I don't eat excessively in excessive amounts because I can't anymore after being on that fucking uh Wegovy shit. I can't eat like large amounts of food anymore because I just get sick. I don't I don't really care so much about the nutrition aspect. I'm more so worried about like the physical aspect. At some point I'll focus more on nutrition. But my goal right now is like just being able to continually and consistently move my body.
And usually one follows the other, so
Right.
it's just a natural thing.
Right. And like the more I work out, I've noticed like the last 2 days, I've been craving protein. Like, give me all the goddamn protein you can possibly give me. Like, I want more protein than I do carbs. So like obviously, I'm starting to like build a little bit of muscle back because I'm craving fucking protein. So something's going on, and I usually don't crave protein. Usually I'm a carb kid. I want all the carbs, right? So something's changing, and that's great. So I'm just focusing on the progress right now. And
Hmm.
there's been a lot of it made. So that is my focus. That is where I'm at right now. Um, do you want to scream into the microphone for a minute? What's going
Uh,
on with you?
I mean, I've been having trouble with unemployment. 'Cause so if you missed any of the last two episodes, I had lost my job at the end of January. Uh, I am fine financially for a good while. But I still filed for unemployment because one, I was owed that. Because like my here, like, you know, my work already paid into it, so it's like, okay, just give me the unemployment then. But they make it so fucking difficult to anyone that says like, "Oh, look, all these people on unemployment, like they just have to, just I should just quit my job and go on unemployment." It's not That's not how that works. It's like a whole process. Um, so first I got screwed over because I the letter that they send telling you when your interview is, and they do everything with mail. They make you create an account online to like certify your benefits and all this stuff and make an account and everything. But they don't update you through that. Everything is through mail, which right now the US Post Office is going through it, right? Um and so I had received the um letter telling me when my interview was the day of my interview. So that day I had gotten like a call at like 10 a.m. from a private number. Well, I get so many spam calls. If your name isn't in my caller ID, I'm not answering it. Especially
Right.
not a private number with no number attached. That's like because that's when usually when someone does star 67 to block their number. I'm like, no, I'm not answering that. And then that was also the day that like 2 hours later, I get a call that my dad's in the hospital. He had broken or cracked 3 ribs. So I didn't get the letter telling me about the interview until like 7:30 that night when I got my mail. So I immediately call their call center, and of course they're closed. So I request a call back. I receive a call the day after, which I was not expecting because it was a Saturday. So my interview was supposed to be a Friday at 10 a.m. And so I get a call back from someone on Saturday at like 8 a.m., 8:30. And she's like, "Yeah, you requested a callback regarding like your interview." I said, "Yeah, I told her everything." And she's like, "Well, they don't normally reschedule interviews." And I'm like, "So it's kind of like a one if you miss it, you're like it's like a one and done." type of thing. And what's even more annoying is that the letter included something you can mail back. Like, if you need to reschedule this interview, here's this form you fill out and then send it back to us through the mail. And it's
Good
like,
Lord.
like they say, oh, we sent this letter out within 7 days. Like, we give you 7 days. I'm like, okay, 7 days right now is not enough to you send me a letter, me receive the letter, me fill out the form, and me send the letter back for you to receive that I need to reschedule the interview. Like, I didn't receive the first letter until the day of the interview, and that was within 10 days. So you're telling
Why can't we
me
not just do this online on the account you made me fill out
exactly.
information
So
for?
so the lady I spoke to, and she did end up helping me. I'm just saying, like, she was kind of like she was very brusque, very blunt, which I think
Yeah.
working for unemployment you have to be because you mainly deal with people who obviously lost their job, are pissed off. So it's kind of like working for collections, right? You're dealing with
Yeah.
people that are at their lowest, you know.
Right.
And so I wasn't rude with her or anything. I was just like mainly confused. I'm like, so you missed the interview and you just don't have another chance? I said, so am I just automatically denied? She's like, not necessarily. And I'm thinking, and I look online and it said, yes, you basically are most likely going to be denied if you don't like answer for your interview. Like, okay, I guess I don't realize that shit happens, life happens, but whatever. So, uh, but she's like, well, I can email them and like see if they can reach out to you. I was like, she's like, I can't really guarantee it though. I was like, okay. And then, so I wasn't expecting her to do that. I was just thought there's something she was saying, like, yeah, I'll go ahead, I can email them. I thought she was just kind of like a platitude type of thing. And
Yeah.
so I was not expecting a call that Monday at like 4:30. She's like, yeah, this other lady, I guess one of the interviewers, she's like, yeah, I have an extra few minutes if you want to do your interview. I was like, oh, okay. And I told her about the letter and everything. She's like, well, we did call you. Yeah, you called me from a private number. You expect majority of people to answer that? Like, I didn't say that
Right.
to her, obviously, but it's like I'm thinking like you you guys don't call from an actual number. I'm assuming you're calling from your cell phone, which is why you do *67.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you just call from your office phone? I'm assuming they're working from home is why they would do that. But why would you not, like, if you're even in then, like, if some people work remote, they still have like an office phone number.
Right.
So why wouldn't you just call from that? But whatever, I don't run the unemployment department. And so um and so we have the interview, and I I immediately, like, after the interview, I'm immediately like, well, I'm gonna get denied because she's like, well, because she asked me all these questions, and I answer them truthfully because my autism can't let me
Mhm.
lie, and at least not about important shit. And so I answer truthfully, and she asked me like these things, like she wants specific details. I can't give you specific details. I don't have access to that shit. And I
Right.
told her, I'm like, they locked me out of everything like the second I got fired. Like,
Yeah.
cause she's like, well, do you have like the date of this and this? I'm like, June or July? Question mark. And
Right.
or like, do you guys have a policy against this sort of thing? I'm like, I'm assuming so, but I don't have the employee handbook in front of me. And um, so after the call, I was not hopeful. And I'm like, I'm gonna get denied because after she asked me all these questions. She's like, okay, now we have to call your boss and your ex boss and compare your answers to hers, and then um then we'll send off to a judge, and the judge will determine. So I was like, okay. Then on that Friday, so that was Monday, that following Friday, I get a letter that I was denied. And I'm like, well, that didn't take long. You guys took 10 days to send a letter that about my interview, but 4 days to tell me about I'm denied. But then I remembered, and I didn't bring this up to you and Scott. It was something I thought of like at 3 o'clock in the morning. One of those things that was like I was like, whoa, hold on, wait. And so
Mhm.
I possibly not be denied because I think because I looked at the postmark date of that letter and it was the day of the interview. Like, how would they have denied me if they hadn't talked to my boss yet? So I think the denial letter
Because it was
was
automatic.
yeah, it was automatic, was from my first missed interview.
Yeah.
So I think like they like I said, and some people were like, well, just because you missed your interview doesn't mean you necessarily get denied. No, I got denied instantly. Like they sent that
Yeah.
letter that Monday after the Friday of the interview I missed. So I'm like, okay. So I go to my mom's that weekend, like get the mail on Friday, and I'm pissed off. And so I come back home on Sunday. I have another letter from them. They send every single like they can't send everything all at once. They send every single fucking decision and step of the process letter by letter. So I received so between like Friday and like either Saturday or Sunday I received another letter. And it was like your the benefits that you're certifying for between February 8th and February 15th don't match our records. Well, if you know what they are, why are you having me fill it out? It's kind of like the whole
Yeah.
IRS thing. Like, you know what I owe you. So why are you having me do the math? So, and I don't know what they're talking about because it's like I didn't earn anything between the 8th and the 15th. My last paycheck was like cuz I got fired on the 30th, which was like January 30th, which was a Thursday, and I would have gotten a final check the following Thursday, so that would have been like February 7th, something like that. And
Right.
so February 6th, whatever. And so and I received my final paycheck, and I did, and because like one of the questions is, did you receive any holiday pay or any sort of like compensation, whatever, for like these dates? The date because you have to certify every 2 weeks. So I'm certified between like the 1st and the 7th and the 8th through the 15th. Well, I answered honestly because first I had to Google because they are not clear. I was like holiday pay, and I'm thinking, well, like Martin Luther King Day already happened, so that no, and I'm thinking like actual holiday pay. But so I Google it just to be because at first originally I answer zero, but then I Google it and I don't submit it yet. So then I Google it and it's like holiday pay includes any like PTO that was paid out.
Yeah.
So I went back, found I, but I because I can't see my pay, so I logged into my what original work like what we would log in to clock in and stuff and see all our benefits and everything and our pay history. But they locked me out of that. Like I could log in and see my like profile page, but nothing else. So I couldn't see what had broken down, like what my paycheck was for um like what part of my paycheck was towards the holiday pay. But I remembered it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I had 129 hours of vacation time, unused vacation time. And so and they want the gross amount. They don't want the net amount. I'm like, okay, well, I know what my hourly wage was. I know how many hours. So I just mathed it. I'm like, I'm assuming this is correct. I don't have my paycheck in front of me to know, and I can't see it. And so and this is something like I have to take care of now. And um so I do that. So I'm like I'm wondering like what, and so I have to certify today. Like I have until 7:30 p.m. So I have to certify today about and figure out what they mean like it doesn't match our records. Well, if you know the answer, then can you tell it to me? Like what
Right.
do you want me to just tell me what to put and I'll put it there. Like I just want it like I said, and I told Nikki and Scott like I am not absolutely desperate. Like I am very lucky in that I don't have a family to support. I don't like it's just me. So basically if I fuck up, the only person I'm fucking up is me. Like
Right.
that's the only like and so when I fuck up, I'm the only one that's affected really. So not a whole lot of pressure. Plus, I have a lot of savings. Just like it's so weird because like it's money is one of those things that's hard to talk about, as I'm sure you're aware. Like money, like I know in like some cultures it's not like, oh yeah, I make this is how much I make. Like people can just easily say it. At least
Right.
in our society, it's just very hard to say like this is how much I make. This like it's hard to discuss pay. Like it's almost like a
Yeah.
taboo. Like almost like politics and religion and like money is like the third taboo item, like the
Yeah.
unspoken taboo item. So I always feel weird when I say like how much I have saved up because it's like I let me think this out. Let me talk this out in my thought
Yeah.
process.
Don't
Because
give a
it's
factor on the show. Like
yeah.
don't give an you if you want to tell me later you can. You do
Yeah.
not have to put your
No,
financial business
I'm
on
not
the show.
saying yeah, I'm not saying my financials. It's more of the fact of part of me is like, well, if people in my life, not necessarily like you or anyone, but like if other people in my life knew how much I had saved, they would expect more from me financially. Does that make sense?
Absolutely
Yes.
not.
Yeah. No, no, I'm not you.
Absolutely not.
Not you. Like I said, I'm not like you. I'm like my mom,
Yeah.
like my dad or something. Because I've talked about to you how I made the mistake of telling my dad how I think I made a mistake of telling my dad how much I had like saved up. And this is gonna maybe make me sound selfish. It's more of the fact of because like my dad has not always been like the best gift giver and stuff. And so
Mhm.
he he doesn't get paid a lot. He had really bad health problems that made him have to quit his job like before retirement and stuff, and he probably would have worked past retirement if he wanted, but he had just a lot of health problems. and and then because this is America, he had medical debt, which luckily like he had to take a plane ride, and that or not plane ride, a helicopter ride, and that helicopter ride would have cost I think over $200,000 for
Jesus Christ.
1.5 hour helicopter ride from here to St. Louis. So my mom was able to talk it down to like 20,000, something like that. So she was able to talk it down to like 10% of what it was. Still a fucking lot. Still a lot. Um, but anyway, so like I made the mistake of like telling my
I
dad,
need Carolyn on my bills.
right? Like
We need to put her on every one of my bills.
she's really good at talking to collectors and stuff and getting things talked down. Because she's very business minded, very money minded.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like money minded in the fact that like I'm good at saving. I'm just not good at like calling people and be like, please don't take my money.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not good with confrontation, okay?
Yeah.
And so it's the whole like half of me of like talking about like telling people like how much I'm not like I said, I'm not saying it on the show or anything, but like saying telling people it's like some people might expect more from me financially. And it's not like I give the air of I like it's not like I try to make people think that I'm poor. Like I jokingly say I'm poor, I can't do that. Like just like a joke mainly. It's also like to me it's like there's a lot of stuff that's like unnecessary expenses.
Right.
Sorry, this is going to sound all discombobulated, but I'm trying to like think this out and say it in like a very diplomatic way, not for your sake or anything. Just me like like there's nothing to do with you or like Scott or anything. This is just me
Right,
like
right.
thinking out loud. So it's more of like it's kind of like when like when people in the lottery, like I obviously don't have lottery money. If I had lottery money, I wouldn't be fucking messing with unemployment.
Yeah,
And
you wouldn't
so
see me here.
yeah, yeah, it's like you guys,
There would
it's
be
like I'd be
signs.
gone. Yep, it's yeah, there'd be signs. Um, so it's kind of like when people in the lottery and they don't tell anybody. Like if they
Yeah.
live in a state where they don't have to like report it, or like they'll if they live in a state where they have to report it, they dress up like in the mask and everything. They because they had like
Yeah.
so if you don't know, like in the U.S., some states you're required to report that you won the lottery. Like you're
Oh,
required
I
to have
didn't
your
know
picture
that.
taken. Yes, I think Illinois is one of them. Uh, but some states aren't. Like you're required to show up, get your picture taken, and your like name is reported that you won the lottery.
Oh, hell no.
That to me, that's like a huge privacy issue. But
Yeah. You're just
like,
asking for that person to get fucking robbed.
yeah, exactly. And so I've seen pictures of people who won the lottery, and they're wearing like full on gloves and like especially if they have a common name. Like me, it'd be hard because I have such a unique name. But like, especially if they have a common name, like John Smith or something.
Right.
But anyway, so it's like part of me trying to get back on track. Sorry guys, you guys are like just get to the fucking point already.
Right, right, right.
Um so part of me it's like having people know like how much money I have. It's like they like, expect money like more from me, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also like well you made us think that you were poor, like poor this whole time. I'm like, I've never really tried to give any indication that I am. Like
No.
anytime my friends ask me if I want to do something, like I will discuss the financials about it. And be a little hesitant because it's just for me, it's like it's kind of like sometimes hard to spend money,
Yeah.
and it's because you have to understand, my mom, like, she purposely would tell me how much bills were when I was a kid. Like, she would tell me how
Yeah.
much the electric bill was, how much, like, air conditioning costs, and some of it may have been, like, just exaggerated, I was trained, like, to just turn lights off as soon as you, like, go in and out, like, one that's just polite to turn a light off when you leave the room, and so I tend to do that by habit in other people's houses, and so because then she would tell me how much it cost, and bless her heart, she was like, well, I was and I told her this. I was like, you kind of gave me anxiety about money, like a big anxiety about money. She's like, well, I was trying to teach you like financial responsibility. I'm like, I understand that. Like,
But you beat it into me through fear. Like
yeah, like,
not through healthy conversation.
whereas like if if basically if she got me a gift or something and I didn't use that, or if she didn't like actually see me use the gift or do whatever with the gift, she would tell me later how much she spent on that gift.
Ooh, Carolyn.
So that's
We
and
love
I
you, but that's not nice.
and this is why like when Nikki helped me like clean up like half my house a few years ago, I told her like that's why it's so hard for me to get rid of things. Like and she and Nikki like stopped, she goes, that makes so much fucking sense now.
Yeah.
I was like,
Seriously.
you have to understand, like I put like my brain puts like a monetary value, even if I don't know what the monetary value of that item is, like it puts of like you the equation of what was spent on this item versus what you got out of it does not compute. So you have
Yeah.
to keep it until you get what you got out of it. Until you got like
Yeah.
what you spent. You have to get out what you got out of it. So that is my big thing, which granted it has helped me save, but it's also like also prevented me from like living my life sometimes because when Scott the other like yesterday, the day before, my days are all messed up. Like the fact that it's the middle of the week just baffles me. I'm like, oh god, it is right.
Mhm.
Um, when Scott sent me, he goes, "Did I show like my friend Scott and I went to Spain in 2016, and he was like, did we go to this place in Salamanca?" And I said, no, I don't think so. But I'm also thinking there was a lot of times on that trip that I didn't like participate or go to because of money. And
Yeah.
granted, I did have like a somewhat limited amount of money because what I did before I went to Spain is I just converted some money into euros, and like that's what I had. Like that's the amount of money. Like I didn't because I couldn't take my debit card because this was 9 years ago almost, and like at the time our debit cards weren't like my bank's debit cards weren't set up for like international without costing a bunch of fees, and
Right.
this was before I got like an account with like a bank account with something that I could use at ATM. So what we did is that I had brought all my money in euros in my backpack. So the fact that I was traveling with probably like 1,300 euros in my backpack, and which is pretty good for 6 weeks of travel. But I had given it to Scott because Scott was in Spain for the like, I was meeting him at the end of his school year. He was in Spain teaching English, so he was in Spain for like 9-10 months, and so I was just meeting up with him after he was done, and so he had a bank account, and so we just put the money in the bank account and we just kept track like on a piece of paper or my like on my notes app on my phone. Well, I didn't bring my phone; I brought my iPod, but uh just kept track of like, okay, I withdrew 50 euros, you withdrew whatever euros, blah blah. So just kept track of how much I was left at the end. And I was left with quite a lot. Like I want to say like 500 euros after 6 weeks of travel. So all I spent was like 800 euros. And so it's
Dang,
like,
lady.
but there was like different excursions and stuff that I did not go on because, well, a lot of times it's because I was too tired because we were walking. We were doing the Camino de Santiago, which was like walking about 15 miles a day. So I was so fucking tired. And so, but sometimes it's like, well, I just don't know if I have the money for that. Like I have to stretch my money. So I have like this big money thing, and this has all been a very long 20-minute tangent just to say, oh my god, people clicked off like 50 minutes ago, and I don't fucking blame them. But uh, this is all to say, like, I have the money for a good long while for my bills and everything, and I have very little bills. Like, my car is paid off, my house and my rent is pretty low because, like, I have a trailer, so I have like a mortgage on my trailer, but then I rent the lot that the trailer sits on.
Yeah.
So my electricity bill last month was atrocious because it got down to negative degrees here, but in
Yeah,
my
and
house is
trailers
not.
aren't they're notorious
Oh,
for having like no insulation.
yeah, yeah, and um, so I figured it out. I'm like, okay, so I added up all my bills, all my regular bills, plus add a little bit more and stuff like food and everything. I'm like, okay, now divide my current account by my monthly expenses. I'm like, okay, I could go for a good long while. What pisses me off is that I am owed this unemployment because no one really, like, I understand like insurance like no matter what type of insurance it is, they try their best to not pay it out because
Right.
they obviously make money from the stuff they don't have to pay out. That's why when people get like hurricanes and fires, like they have a hard time with insurance companies because insurance companies don't want to pay the people that they're owed because it's like, well, we're
Right.
losing money now. Um, so the fact that my work has already paid the unemployment insurance, like, so it's not necessarily them stopping it. Like, obviously, my boss's answers could make the judge say, well, fuck you, we're not giving you the money that's already been paid out. And
Right.
so the one of the letters I got said I'm good. I'm like eligible for up to $12,000 in unemployment insurance.
Yeah.
That's like several months of bills.
Right.
So it's the fact of like, yes, I don't quote unquote need the unemployment money because I'm good, but it's also like it would just take a hell of a lot off my plate because
Absolutely.
even though unemployment money, like, and also to the people that think that like, oh, I just quit my job and get unemployment, I'm getting less than half of my like unemployment, like through unemployment that I got on my work. It's like minimum
Yeah.
wage. Okay, it's like minimum wage.
Yeah.
It's like people don't
That's
just quit their
what
job to
it
get
is.
unemployment just for the fucking fun of it. Like,
Right. You end up
like,
taking half of what you usually get paid if you were to
mm-hmm,
go to work. It's about half the hourly rate,
yeah.
essentially.
So what I would get paid out through from unemployment would cover barely cover all of my bills. So
Yeah.
it would just take that amount of stress off to where it's like I feel like I could. And what's annoying is that I understand like this because I had to be on unemployment years and years ago when I lost another job, and we talked about this when Nick was on the show a little bit, where I lost my job at a movie theater. I was like in my early 20s, and um and so that one was easier at the time was easier because you didn't have to like certify every 2 weeks that you're looking for work. Usually, if they wanted to like audit you, they would be like, "Were you looking for jobs?" You just have to say like yes or no. And
Mm-hmm.
so I understand they're trying to like crack down on fraud and everything, but I don't know if anyone has tried looking for work recently, but it feels like a full-time job. Like I applied to 2 jobs at the same place and I had to fill out the same form twice with like 10 pages of information plus
Yeah.
upload my resume. I'm like, "Can you just take my resume and just glean that information off of that?" Like
Right.
my resume's just here. Just take that, please. Like it has my
Right.
certifications, has my recent work history. Like I took off like some of my like my oldest work history. Like you don't need to know that I worked at the movie theater. You don't need to work no, I worked at Walgreens like part-time. Like you don't need to know about my
Right.
part-time jobs. So I just mainly started from Barnes and Noble to like now because Barnes and Noble, like I'm pretty good at like keeping jobs for a good while. Like obviously like I've been fired from 2 of them. So like you're like, how the fuck does she keep jobs? She gets fired from them. Like Barnes and Noble I worked for like, you know, like 4 or 5 years. Movie theater I worked at like 2.5. This one I worked at 6. So I know like a lot of people like neurodivergent people are like have trouble keeping jobs, but that's where my autism overrules my ADHD, where like I just want the comfort of being in a job and staying in that job.
Right.
And so and Scott has been asking me about like, oh, what jobs he applied to, and I told him, and it's for me, it's hard. Some people are like, well, I just need to get a job. Like I have a friend that she like, or they have worked so many jobs, like their resume must be miles long. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I'm one of those people. It's like I'm looking for a job that I feel like I could be at for years. It's kind of like I don't want to
Yeah.
just get a job just for the sake of having a paycheck. It's like because
Right.
start that whole process starting like it has to be worth me having the stress of starting over. Like it has
Yeah.
to work out for a long term type of thing. Because like if I wanted, I could just be like I just roll up to Barnes and Noble and be like, "Hey, can I have a part-time job?" And they probably give it to me because I
Yeah.
worked there for so many years. And I know at least one of the managers is still there. So that I worked with. So I could easily go and just probably get any retail job I wanted. Do I want to do that? Fucking no.
No.
No. And so
Listen, at 35 years old, the last place that our tism asses want to be is in a
it's
retail environment. And
in
I learned
customer
that the
service.
fucking hard, yeah, I
Yeah.
learned that the fucking hard way at my job that I worked at for 2.5 fucking years. Did I enjoy the industry I was in? Yes. Did I enjoy the customer facing aspects of this industry? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. No more retail for me. If I ever go back to work, it will never be a retail job, no matter what my fucking body can do. Fuck
Mm-hmm.
retail. I won't be doing it anymore.
Yeah. And that's my thought process. It's like I don't want to get a job just for the sake of having a job. Like I want
Right.
like it's not necessarily like, oh, I just want a career. It's not that either. It's more of like I have certain standards now. Like cuz I was working a professional job. I have certifications. Like I have
Right.
certifications after my name and my email. 3 certifications. Which unfortunately are kind of niche. Um so
But there's
they're
a
kind of
new
niche like
bank that pops up on the fucking corner every goddamn day.
right.
So, like at some
Well,
point
it's
someone's going to need one of those, you know?
right. It's more of like mine are compliance related. They're not
Right.
fully like they're bank related, but they're more like compliance related. So I'd have to get like my certifications are good for like the back office stuff, which is what I want to do. Like I could go to any bank and get like a job as a teller. Do I want to do that? No. People
No.
are awful to tellers
Yeah.
because like it's like and I understand because like well I don't understand people being awful to customer service people in general. Like just don't be an awful human being because they're human beings too.
Right.
So it's more of the fact of like I understand like when you're usually at a bank, money is a stressful thing, but don't take it out on the 18-year-old teller that's doing this
Right.
to get to work their way through college. Okay.
Right.
So, and I think like Scott, bless his heart, if he I kind of doubt he's listening to this, but if he is, Scott bless his heart, he'll show me jobs of like part of it will work out for me, but part of it won't. Like one of them
Mhm.
was for like Frito Lay. I think it was Frito Lay, where it's like the people that stock the the people like it's like the vendors you see in stores that are like putting up the displays and everything.
Yeah.
And that part of the job I'd be fine with. Yes, just give me the display you want. Here's the display that the company has sent, has to be in your store, and I will
Right.
happily put that up and just and I can just if a customer asks me if I work here, I can say, "No, I don't.
Yep.
Bye." But part of the aspect was working with the managers of the job of the store about how to better increase your sales or whatever. I'm like, "No."
Yeah. So it's
I was
not
this
just product
yeah.
placement, it's sales and revenue based as
Yeah.
well.
It's like working with the individual stores about how to increase their sales. It's like, well, I've always been like a good salesperson because I feel like because I'm inherently honest, like I don't sell you bullshit. Like this is why I couldn't be like a
Yeah.
car salesman. Like I don't sell you bullshit because I always like when I worked at AMC and I worked at Barnes and Noble, we had like membership cards and I was always in like the top 2. Like me and some other person was always like neck and neck in terms of membership sales because I just was inherently honest, but I don't like doing it. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
things that's like I'm good at, but I hate it.
Yeah.
Like it's and so and I remember a while ago, this is when I worked at the call center for the job I got fired from. Um the Scott and I was miserable. Like call center, like if you think people are mean to retail people, they are
Oh God.
awful to call center, which I'm sure you know.
I remember
So,
from Hyatt days.
yes. Yes. So to the people that you call call centers, like if you are mean to a call center person, especially like when I said the person that I talked to at unemployment, she had a very blunt attitude, but I wasn't mean to her. Like
Yeah.
I could tell she could probably argue with the best of them based on her attitude, but it's an attitude of hers that I completely understand because she has been so jaded and so beat
Yeah.
down by the people that she has to talk to. So I remember when I was working at the call center, I was miserable because like I can handle having a terrible boss and I can handle having terrible customers, like but having both is awful. Like it's either one or the other. Like if I have terrible customers, I want a boss that will back me up.
Yeah.
I remember Scott had sent me a job of I think it was like the doggy daycare that he takes. It's like a doggy daycare and grooming place that he takes his dogs to. They're looking
Aw.
for like a doggy daycare person and like groomer, and I'm thinking I appreciate like you are thinking of me, and I appreciate that.
Right.
One, I don't want to drive to Marion. Like it's not that long of a commute, but my car is old enough at this point that like I don't want to do that every day, and also I just don't fucking want to. Like
Yeah.
it's a fact of me being a child, and it's like I don't want to. And
Yeah.
so and also like it got paid a lot less than what I was making, and it's also like I don't want to groom dogs.
Yeah.
So it's so this whole like
It
job
would be
thing.
one thing if you needed a fucking job like
Mhm,
next week, right?
right.
Like that is one thing. That is a different story. I don't want people to think that like you're shitting on jobs. We're shitting on jobs
Yeah.
over here because just because we
Like I'm
don't feel
not.
like doing them. If we needed a fucking paycheck, we'd be scrubbing your toilet if we fucking
Mm,
had to,
right.
or on our hands and knees with a toothbrush, scrubbing grout, whatever the fuck we had to do, right? Like, we would do any fucking job if it came down to starving.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
And
I'm gonna take my ass to work, but this is
and
not the case, right?
I want to point out like me saying I don't want to do that job, like it's not me saying I'm too good to do that job. It's me like I just wouldn't be good at that job.
Right.
Like
And it's not your preference. And so why would you want to go to work every day and
for
be
a job
fucking miserable?
I knew I would not like.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't align with you. Like not at our advanced age
Yeah.
do we need to be
Exactly.
doing things unless
Right.
we are in a situation in which we don't have any other choice but to do that thing, right? Like it's one thing when the desperation calls for getting a fucking job yesterday. It's
Mhm.
another thing when you have the luxury of choice and the gift of time on your
Mhm.
hands to be able to choose what you want to do, right?
Right. It's also like you said, we're at an age where it's like I know what I want in a job now because I got kind of spoiled with the job that I got fired from because it was back office. I did not have to talk to the general public. I got generally left alone for the most part. So like I would love to like I wouldn't mind like one of the jobs I was thinking about applying for was like a receptionist at and jobs around here just pay absolutely shit. Like just
Yeah, they
absolute
do.
shit because I'm in like a banking group on Facebook and when people tell me like, "Oh yeah, our tellers start out at this amount." And it's like that's like
It's
3 to
because
5
it's a
dollars.
college town.
Yeah, it's like I was like that's $3 to $5 an hour more than what they make here. And it's not like these people are located in the middle of New York fucking city, you know? And
Right.
so like
It's
they're
because you're in a college town.
yeah. And so and so the it's the fact of like I know what I want and I yes, I could settle, but it's one of those things like I don't like the idea of moving from job to job just for the sake of a paycheck because I just want to be there and be comfortable. Like I and so
Right.
one of the things I saw was like receptionist at a dentist office. It's like okay, you have like minimal customer like you basically just call people like hey your appointment, make appointments and like take payments and stuff. And like that's to me that's not like the general public walking into a store, right? Like they're there for that particular reason to like see like, and they have minimal interaction with you because you're literally just checking them in and all that stuff. You know, whatever receptionist does at a dentist office. So like, okay, like that's something I can do. It pays like $5 less than what I was making at my old job, but it's something that, you know, it paid the bills until I found something else. But it's also like I just want to find something that I'd be comfortable in for months or years, you know? That's what it all
Right.
boils down to. And so it's hard unemployment, like saying like apparently like they don't always like obviously they don't verify all the time what your job seeking process looks like, but if you get audited, you like have to prove like by a form that they gave you of like what jobs you applied for, who you talked to, whatever. I'm like, this used to be a lot easier years ago.
Right.
And so it's like, but like applying for jobs feels like such a full time job in itself because it just every single company makes it so difficult and so annoying. Like it took me like 3 hours to apply to those two jobs at the same place. So it's just I'm like I'm just over it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I
That's
remember when I was looking for me too, and like especially if you're gonna fucking apply to work at a bank, they want like all your fucking information. And then some places are like, "What's your name, your phone number, and we'll call you." And it's like, "That's great. Thanks." Like
mm-hmm.
upload your resume, we'll do the rest. Yay.
Right.
Yeah, they just some places make it difficult.
So that's my 40-minute bitch about all that. So there we go.
Yeah.
At least we got an episode
Work
out of
is
it,
tough.
out of our issues.
Yep, we did. Life sucks and it's bad. Yeah.
Wear a helmet. Like we're not trying to be all doom and gloom. Like there are some good aspects
No.
of life. We're not trying to be all like, man, these people are so depressing. Why do I listen to them?
I
It's
know, right?
it's like I said, I am lucky that I have the money to just chill. Right now, it's
Right.
completely ruined my mental health because my house is a disaster, or like disaster in like my eyes, because it's like it's clean. Like I've been doing dishes, I've been doing laundry, but like my living room is not picked up. Like
Do I need to come over so you'll clean?
maybe. Like, I'm almost, like, tempted to, like, get my mom over here because my mom is the most judgy person, like, she and it's not, like, vocally, it's with the mom eyes, the, you
Yeah,
know,
the
up and
eyes. Like,
down, yes. Mm,
hmm,
hmm.
hmm.
It's like, you're home, like, you have all this time and your house looks like this? Shame,
Yeah,
shame. But so it's like so because I lost my routine.
yeah,
Like, it's just and because I like I said, I'm losing track of what day it is, it's just, I don't know what to do with my life at this
yeah.
point.
Maybe that could be like our next episode is like
Mhm,
talking about what it's like when your routine shifts
mhm.
and like that
It's
weird
disrupted,
limbo
especially
period.
abruptly, because we both
Yeah,
had our routines disrupted
abruptly. Yeah,
abruptly.
abruptly disrupted. Yes. I think that's a good topic.
Mhm,
So let's leave it at that.
yeah.
Uh,
I think that's all I
I
have.
I don't have any fun and fuckery again. I don't want to do that to the people.
Yeah.
Let's try to find a fun question. Let me hit the fun and fuckery, and then we will uh find something fun to do.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Welcome to the other side.
Yeah, we have to be happy over here.
Yes. This is the fun and fuckery portion. We can't be sad. We
Yes.
can't say life sucks or the world's terrible.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, this is actually good. We can ask this one because we were literally just talking about this. What weird fashion trend would you bring back?
Like weird?
Or just you can take weird out of it. Like what
Mhm.
fashion trend would you totally bring back? Because I think we're on the same page with this. We literally just talked about it the other day.
Oh yeah, like you're talking about like we are talking about the gowns and stuff. The
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'd want to like wear like have it like that as a daily wear type of thing. So I sent Nikki a
Yeah.
video of like I think it was Venice. There's like people like yeah, because they're just like carnival. It was like carnival in Venice or something. So they're wearing masks and everything and dressed up like ball gowns, like, 17, 1800s. I'm not good with time period clothes, but it
Yeah,
looks like
same.
17, 1800s. And so I submitted this. I'm like, man, I was like, oh, this would be so fun. She's like, man, I wish like we dressed like this, like we dressed like this, like they used to. And I'm think, for me, no, because that'd be very uncomfortable. Like I don't know how people back then like that were neurodivergent like handled it because they probably just had meltdowns all the time. But
Yeah.
like all the like the 17 layers they had to wear and
The
like
corsets, the
the,
fucking corsets.
the corsets and having to have
Oh,
someone help you dress and like what if you had to pee? It's like, oh no. And
the tits squeezed up to your fucking chin.
but so I guess for me, if I want to go something like okay, something that we had when we were kids or younger, like okay, one thing I've kind of talked about with a coworker was, and I know they still make these technically, but they're not like a style thing anymore, is like stirrup pants where
Yeah.
I'm thinking like okay, because I tell her it's like I want like I wear leggings, like but I want the leggings to be tucked into my shoes, but it's hard to do that, like they keep falling off, and I don't like any part of like my ankle, like not part of my ankle showing. It's more of like a just a comfort thing. Like I don't like my shirt riding up. I don't like the feeling of that, like my shirt riding up or my like like my pants riding up. So it's like if I had leggings with like stirrups on them, and they'd be very easy to make. Obviously, like you just sew a
Mhm.
piece of fabric, like and they make those. I because I looked them up, and so like stirrup leggings specifically, and also it'd be easier like stirrup jeans, like if even just jeggings, like for when you want to wear boots, right? So
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
like keep because like it sucks like when you sit down
And
and
then they ride up.
they ride up, and so then when you stand up, they have like a little bunch of like pants over the boots, and it's just
Mhm.
not a good look. You look like you're out mucking hay like stalls or something,
Yeah.
which not putting down people that muck out stalls. It's a job I wouldn't be able to do. So
Right.
kudos to you if you do. Um, so yeah, I guess for like my art, because that was something that we had like in the early to late 90s. So mainly the 90s, because I have like a video of me like dancing to Footloose with my side ponytail and my stirrup pants and my
Hell
oversized purple
yeah.
sweater. So yeah,
You remember
that's for
bobby
me.
socks?
Yes, the like little lace. Are you talking about like the
The
little lace,
frilly ones.
the little
Yeah.
frilly ones? Yes, I love those.
I don't know why we called them bobby socks, but that's what we called them was bobby socks. We knew when my mom said, "Go get your bobby socks." We knew what she was talking about. It was the little lace,
You usually wore
like
them
the
with
lace cuff
like a
socks.
cute outfit, like a cute outfit.
Yeah, or wear them with a cute outfit, or my mom would put me in black stirrup leggings and then put my bobby socks over the stirrup leggings. And then I would wear my Mary Janes. So I would have black stirrup leggings, my white bobby socks with the lace, my black patent leather Mary Janes, and I had this white crew neck Mickey Mouse sweatshirt that was a little too big for me, so it would cover my
Hmm.
butt.
Hmm.
And then I had a side pony with a
Yeah,
red bow, and that
we had
was
the
like my
oversized sweaters
fun
on lock.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the oversized sweatshirts on. That's why I still wear them like this to this day. If you think about what I'm describing to you, it's me now without a
Hmm.
side pony. Like I wear leggings. I don't like socks anymore, but I wear leggings and oversized sweatshirts. This is how I fucking dress to this day.
So
But
I
yeah,
looked up bobby socks. So they are usually white and worn ankle length or collected at the ankle instead of being rolled up fully extended on the leg. The term is derived from the socks being worn bobbed, meaning around the ankle. The popularity of bobby socks among young American women in the 1940s led to the demographic being popularly referred to as bobby sockers, which I never heard before. It
yeah, me
said
neither.
they were originally popular in 1940s and 50s, but then came back in the 80s. So,
Okay. So that's why I was dressed in them all the time because my mother was like a teen in the 80s, right? So she
mhm,
was like perpetually stuck in the 80s, right? Like the 80s to her was like the early aughts to us, right?
mhm,
So like late 90s, early aughts to us. So we I'm sure we got dressed like that all the time,
Mhm.
right? But that was my favorite outfit as a kid. My big oversized Mickey sweatshirt with my red bow and side pony, with my little blonde hair and my little bitty bangs and my bobby socks and my black stirrup leggings. That's what I wore.
Mhm.
But I would bring back, or like, my favorite kind of like fantasy style of clothing would have to be like the shit they wear in Lord of the Rings, like the shit the
Yeah.
elves wear in Lord of the
Mhm.
Rings. Okay, I want elf couture.
Mhm.
That's what I want. I
Yeah.
want to look like fucking Galadriel, either era of Galadriel, if we're talking Rings of Power or the original. Give
Mhm.
me the fucking hair past my ass, which currently it's above
Which
my
is
goddamn ears, so
which is
funny.
completely
But
full. Like, not only just long hair, like, the fact that, like, obviously she's wearing, like, extensions or whatever, but it's
yeah,
also,
yeah,
like,
that ain't all.
it's,
That's not her
like,
hair.
the girls that have, like, full, luscious hair, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about, like, having curly hair, like, if I just have, like, the wavy, like, full hair, I'm like, "God," like, that, because I feel like my hair is not growing, like, some people's hair just can't grow past a certain
Yeah.
point. I feel like I'm one of those people, like, my hair's long, but I feel like it's not growing anymore.
Get you
So,
some supplements, ma'am.
I take biotin, but, my hair is just always, like, thin. But I like, anytime, like, the long
Yeah.
like, thing hair. In terms of, like, hairstyles, I mean, I'm so boring when it comes to my hair, like, I never change my hair. Um, like, and also, like, hairstyles, like, before the '90s were just so, a lot of it was intricate, like, the '70s had, like, the hippie hair, which they didn't do much with,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, the '60s had, like, the beehives, the '80s had, like, the hairspray, like, all the way the higher the
The
hair, the closer to
bangs to the
God.
fucking sky. Yeah,
Yeah, and
bangs
so,
combed up to Jesus.
like, I'm too lazy when it comes to certain styles. So, like, when I see like, that's why it's kinda hard for me to answer older styles that I'd like to bring
Yeah.
back, like, older fashions, because it's like, I'm too lazy to keep track of all that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's me. I want elf couture and I want like beautiful Victorian era fucking ball gowns.
Mhm,
I want like royalty level balls to be a thing again.
mhm,
So like you could just like you said, like maybe even once a year
right, that's,
to
like, the
get
big
to do that.
that's, like, and there's places that do that. There's, like, Bridgerton balls, they call them. There's places that do that, but obviously they cost, like, tons of money, and you have to get the gown itself costs, like, hundreds
Right.
of dollars. So, it's
Right.
also, like, back then, people had them, obviously, like, the rich people, like, the peasants, like us, the peasants would not be going to those balls, right?
No,
And so,
absolutely not.
um, but back then, like, a person might have like, a lady might have, like, 1 good dress, like,
Yeah.
1 to, like, maybe 3 good dresses, like, I know in Bridgerton, they show them wearing, like, that was not realistic, like, them show like,
No.
wearing constantly, even, like, I watch Outlander. Outlander is more, like, more of the peasant look thing, but even then, like, they had, like, a ton of outfits. They didn't have a ton of outfits. They all had handmade outfits
No.
they took care of. They always wear chemises underneath, so they would not have to wash their clothes all the time. They just wash the chemise and everything, so it just, they had a lot there was no fast fashion, okay? There's no, like,
No.
just go down to the store, go down to the tailor and pick up your gown, like, every week. No, there's no doing
Yeah.
that.
I think handmade clothing needs to make a resurgence. Like, and I know that like no one can afford it anymore because what it takes to make handmade clothing, like the time and effort and labor you're paying that person to do that thing on top of paying for the materials that they purchase to make you the thing. And
Mhm.
it's like well worth the money, right? Like pay people what they're worth.
Oh,
But
go ahead.
I just don't, it's just not fucking affordable anymore unless you're doing it yourself, unless you learn the skill and learn to make your own clothing. Or you got fucking fat cash like that. I don't. But go
I
ahead.
just wanna show you real quick. We're almost done, but I wanted to, obviously, you guys won't see this, but I wanted to show Nikki real quick. I found a video of mine, or a picture of mine wearing, I think they're bobby socks. So let me show you, because, like, this was one of my outfits
Oh
that I
yeah,
wore.
I went to see. Oh my God, how cute. They totally are Bobby socks. And those are the exact Mary Janes I'm talking about that I had, but mine were black.
Yep,
I
mine were
love it.
for all you obviously can't see, but mine I'm wearing red Mary Jane, so that's like the shoes with the little strap over them. They look almost look like,
Hmm.
dancer shoes with white bobby socks, so socks that are like rolled down a little bit, and I'm wearing a little mermaid dress.
It's so cute.
This and it's dated August 31st, 1992.
Cute.
So, I think that's all we have for you guys today. It's a
Yep.
longer one today.
That's alright. We've had a
Usually what
couple
happens when
short
we start
ones.
bitching about our lives and the world
I
and
know.
everything. We have an actual topic, we're like, yeah, 45 minutes sounds good, but when we're like
Yeah.
talking about nothing.
Ugh, all right. Well, let's hit the Julie.
Julie, do the thing!
I'm afraid there are no more things to do.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
All right. Tenzin says we're done, and so does Julie. So, all right. I will talk to you probably in a few minutes, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll talk to y'all next week. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we love you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.